Hey, what do we got? We got some corn?
Looks like we got some corn ready right now. I gotta give this to the chickens. Oh, I'm so excited. Yay. Something got them?
The coons got some of them.
Ah, shoot.
Back here. We're picking corn and there's evidence of raccoons that are getting in and getting a little midnight snack. So we're gonna take care of the raccoons tonight. I've started to save the beef liver from our butcher. Usually I would just toss this stuff. This is really good for raccoon traps, or raccoon bait. So I'll put this in the traps and I'm pretty sure we'll get at least 1 or 2 tonight. Taking these to the pigs so they don't go to waste.
Nice.
Hey, what sound does a piggy make? Good. Just takes one. So Becky and I are out in the garden. Quick update on the raccoon problem in the corn. We caught an animal, not a raccoon. We caught a cat. We don't own any cats, but cats end up on our property and we leave them here to eat all the rodents. So we have some barn cats. So one made it into the garden and decided to get all the bait that was in the traps before the raccoons were here. So the raccoons had another fabulous night in the corn, and we need to take even more drastic measures to get rid of the raccoons. So we're gonna let this cat go and we'll figure something else out.
It's not gonna bite you.
Well, you don't know that.
Cats are skittish.
It'd be like the raccoon on like Elf, when he just jumps on me and stuff. I'm gonna put my gloves on.
I'm ready to get out.
Yeah. Okay. Get out of here.
Where we last left off, we had all of our onions curing in the garage on drying racks. A few weeks ago, we were able to get those cleaned up and brought back in the house because they were completely dry. And now I have them in crates next to my dining table, and they need to be put in our pantry and also preserved. But before I do any of that, I need to weigh the onions. We've already been using a lot of the onions, I would guess maybe 20 pounds-ish of onions so far in dinners and preserving foods that we've done already. So I really want to get these weighed before we use too many of them so that we can have an accurate gauge of how many we got. It helps us to know if we need to grow more next year. Before I start weighing the onions, I want to weigh one of the crates empty. All of these crates are similar in size, but they do have different thicknesses of wood. So it's not gonna be like exact. If I was doing this accurately, I should have weighed all those before I put the onions in. But I'm not gonna take all those out right now. So we're just gonna get a good estimation. Okay, this one weighs 9 pounds. So I would guess on average, they're probably like 8 pounds. 45 pounds, okay. Since these are pretty heavy to carry around, I'm just gonna weigh it right where they're at, and then I'll be able to put it back, and I'm not gonna lift this up too much. 46 pounds, 33 pounds. This one's 45, 37 pounds. 30 pounds. 31 pounds. The total weight for the onions with the crates was 267 pounds. Then I subtracted 56 pounds for the crates. So we have 211 pounds and we've eaten about 20 pounds. So that puts us right at about 230 pounds of onions for this year.
Last night I set out an electric perimeter fence around most of the corn. I didn't have enough to do like a full perimeter, but something is better than nothing. So I'm out here the next morning to see if that kept raccoons away from the corn. So cross your fingers, let's hope it worked. I cleared out like all the other corn so that I could see if there was more, and it doesn't look like there's any more. That's cool. Okay. It worked. But we know raccoons, and that's no guarantee it's also gonna work tonight. So we're gonna go check the front, which is where it was open, and we'll see if there's anything else we can do to fortify this place. We're good.
As homesteaders, sometimes we feel like we need to make everything ourselves, but it's just not possible to do it all. So you kind of got to pick and choose what you're going to make yourself and what you purchase. We personally purchase our skincare products. So my favorite skincare products are from Primally Pure. I love everything that they make. Everything I've tried has been amazing. I especially love their tallow-based products, and I'm just showing you two of my many favorites, but one is the body butter and the other is the deodorant. I have spent many years and a lot of money looking for a natural deodorant that actually works. And in my opinion, Primally Pure is the best one on the market. I put this on in the morning, and as you guys know, I'm out in the garden all day. So this stuff really gets put to the test, and it actually works and does what it's supposed to do. The body butter is a multi-purpose moisturizer that is also tallow-based, and it has mango butter and shea butter, so it deeply moisturizes your skin. So if you're looking for natural tallow-based skincare that is responsibly sourced, give Primally Pure a try. It is truly amazing. You can use my code Seasonal Homestead for 15% off site-wide. Just click the link down in the video description. We just walked outside and saw that for one of our chicken tractors, some of the chickens are out. A lot of times they'll dig down and just get underneath a side. That means we need to move the tractor too, but we're gonna wrangle them and get them back in their tractor right now before they destroy anything in the garden.
There we go.
That's good. It will just fill in.
I walked over here a few seconds ago, and it does seem like the raccoons have found the back entrance, which really is not an entrance. It's just
an opening.
An opening, because we were only able to. The fence only wrapped around like half of the corn. This stuff's fresh
from last night.
Yeah, cleared it pretty good. Tore that down. That's a good one. They tore that down, scratched it, and just left. So they found the opening, and they're starting to chew up some corn now, so we're just going to harvest what we can, and then
we'll have to order another fence.
We'll probably end up doing this every year now with the corn, because it's working for now. Oh boy.
Despite the raccoons, we still got a pretty good harvest of sweet corn today. There's a little bit more left in here, but kind of at the tail end of this sweet corn. We have a second succession of corn, but that's all dent corn. At this point, I'm really wishing it was sweet corn, but lesson learned, and we'll remember for next year to plant a lot more sweet corn just in case we need to share. And also we will do a better job of adding fencing around the whole thing, and we'll get that new fence ordered so that hopefully we can protect our dent corn, because we are planning on using that for the pigs and a little bit for us too. An update on the insect netting, it's time to take that off. Not because it's not working, it worked really well. My squash and my cucumber plants have never looked better because they're in this nice protected space, but now the squash are outgrowing that space. It's basically filled in every empty space in there, and I just have to take it off. I could probably leave it on the cucumbers a little bit longer. I'm gonna make that call as I go. A lot of times as we get into the fall, the squash bug populations go down, but I did see a squash bug on the netting today, so they're definitely still present in my garden. I'm just going to have to be vigilant about checking the leaves and getting them off the plants as much as possible. You like it, though.
So I came out to the garden this morning to do a few things, and I noticed we pretty much accidentally caught a raccoon in our traps. These have been out here for a few days, and I haven't really refreshed the bait, but nonetheless we caught one. So I'm gonna take this guy out and make sure that he never returns. So let's do that now. Hey little guy. I guess he's little, but not too little. Okay.
So now it's time to preserve some of our onions. I'm going to be freeze drying a good portion of these onions. Onions also freeze really well and they dehydrate really well. Before I get too far into chopping and freeze drying the onions, I actually need to remove some trays I already have in the freeze dryer. We freeze dried some eggs. We always have a little something in there, and right now it's eggs. So I gotta get that put away first, and then we can get going on the onions. Good, now up. Job. I am going to be freeze drying these onions two ways. We're going to chop the onions up and freeze dry them raw. And then the other way that I want to freeze dry the onions is by caramelizing them first and then freeze drying them so that they're ready to use. Caramelized onions have a lot of added flavor and sweetness, but the downside is they take a really long time to make, and I prefer to make them in a frying pan. So I only have so much frying pan space. So it's going to take me a couple batches to be able to caramelize as many onions as I want to for the year. I'm thinking I want at least one large freeze dryer tray worth. And when you caramelize onions, they shrink down a whole bunch. So it is gonna take a lot of onions to do that, but that's okay because we have a lot of onions to go through and to preserve.
It was super fun to have the whole family helping with the onions. Everybody was crying, laughing, crying some more because of the onions pretty much. So nightfall came and we still had a ton left to do. So everybody else kind of went to bed. I just threw on my favorite TV show and plopped down and diced up a whole bunch of onions. I also realized that if I put a blower fan right next to my face, it would keep me from crying like a baby from chopping all these onions. So that worked like a charm. So all these onions I chopped, I was able to put on trays and throw them in the freeze dryer. Then I went straight to bed because if anybody needs a beauty sleep, it is me.
Okay, I got my big boy pants on. So this dead tree behind me, I didn't think anything of it until now. It's in the pasture where I'm moving the cows to today. And they haven't been here a while, and so I usually like to walk the perimeter to see if anything has happened exactly like this. So a storm hit or whatever, and this tree fell across the fence line, and so it's an easy way for the cows to get out if I don't fix this. So I'm going to do what I can to get it fixed really quick and then haul off the logs, probably use those for firewood and get the cows over here. The fence is just crushed under this mess. I'm gonna cut all the branches just beyond the fence line, like on my neighbor's property, and then just pull all the branches on my side just out of the way. And then I'll come back once it's clear and patch the fence and get that all fixed up. Okay. So the fence is here. It just split this stuff. I'm just gonna clear a path and run some new barbed wire. Probably like a 20-foot stretch that I gotta restring, so not bad. Just gotta open it up so I can do that. fence is all up, time to get the cows over here.
As we approach the end of the garden season, it's normal to be inside more and be preserving, and it also helps to avoid the hot parts of the day. I know many people with this time of year, the garden is getting overgrown, the weeds are getting out of control, it's hot, it's buggy, and you're just ready to throw in the towel. I know a lot of people switch over to thinking about school starting and fall and all of that stuff. I am weirdly obsessed with gardening, so I'm not quite ready to say I'm done with the garden yet. Even though I do neglect it a lot more this time of year, I still want to keep it up enough that we can get a fall harvest and that the weeds don't completely take over. So today I need to address my neglected garden and just do a lot of weeding, which is really unexciting, but it's what needs to be done. Our first batch of freeze-dried onions is done. These are all of the raw ones. I have 7 more trays with the 2 that were caramelized. Those are in the freezer and they'll go in the freeze dryer as soon as it defrosts. So I'm gonna get these packaged. We'll probably do some in jars and some in Mylar bags like usual.
A third one.
So this was definitely a busy day in the kitchen because we were all working on little projects at the same time. A few days prior, we had picked another batch of tomatoes and peppers, and we didn't want them to go bad, so Cam took charge of making salsa while I was working on getting the onions stored and put away in containers. And then at the same time, it was getting close to dinner, so we needed to make that too. And one of our kids really loves to make dinner and he loves to cook, so we put him in charge of making dinner while the rest of us were working on those other projects, and it turned out delicious. He made meatballs, roasted potatoes, and salad. So even though the kitchen was a little chaotic, it was all worth it because we got so much accomplished. So after a frustrating week of having to deal with the raccoons eating a whole bunch of our corn harvest, we were able to have a really good and rewarding preserving day, and that was a good accomplishment. And no matter what happens in the garden, we're always thankful to have healthy homegrown food, and even when it doesn't work out, just to be able to have some of those memories together as a family. So thanks so much for hanging out with us this week and following along with our homestead journey. I hope you are getting some valuable information out of this or inspiration. And if you are, we'd love for you to subscribe and join us for the next one.